Greetings, this is the Grumpy Old Slan, and today we're going to take a look at 6th level Cleric spells in Unearthed Arcana. As we can see, there are 12 different spells, only 2 of which are new. Those are the 2 we're going to take a look at today. The first spell is Forbiddance. It has a permanent duration. This spell can be used only to secure a consecrated area, cf. the ceremony spell. The effects on the enchanted area is based on the ethics, law or chaos, and morals, good or evil, of those trying to enter it, relative to the casters. Identical morals and ethics cannot enter the area unless a password is known. There is no saving throw. Different ethics, save versus spell to enter the area. If failed, take 2 to 12 points of damage. Different morals, save versus spell to enter the area. If failed, take 4 to 24 points of damage. Once a saving throw is failed, an intruder can never enter the forbidden area until the Dwemer ceases. Effects are cumulative, and multiple required saving throws are certainly possible. The caster is immune to the spell's effects. Intruders who enter by making saving throws will feel uneasy and tense despite their success. In addition to the Cleric's Holy Unholy symbol, components include Holy Unholy Water, Silver or Dung, and Iron or Sulfur. I see this as more of a DM spell than anything else. It could be quite interesting to have a dungeon, the ruins of a temple or something from a long time ago, part of which are still under the effects of such a spell. I would expect that most temples will have an inner sanctum that is protected by such a spell, but the general grounds probably wouldn't be. The duration of this spell is stated as being permanent. There's a mention that the Dwemer can cease, but there is nothing about how to end it. I would probably rule that the caster can end the spell at will. Of course, if the caster has passed away, then they can't do that, but perhaps other clerics of the same religion can remove the forbiddance. I think it would be for every DM to decide how to do this. Other means could perhaps be, because this needs to be on consecrated ground, perhaps desecrating or consecrating the area would also cause this spell to be removed. Dispel magic or other similar spells might also work, perhaps remove curse. The last comment I will make is that from an evil cleric's point of view, their symbol is just as holy as that of a good cleric. They would feel the same about it, same with Holy Unholy Water. If you need to use dung or sulfur instead of silver or iron to cast a forbidden spell, maybe you should reevaluate your choice of religion. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Overall, this is a fairly good spell, though I think most of the uses for it are going to be on the part of a DM. Not so much having NPCs cast the spell during play, but having this spell cast on a given area in the past. The next spell is Hero's Feast. It lasts 1 hour. The casting time is 1 turn. This special Dwemer enables the cleric to bring forth a great feast which will serve as many creatures as the cleric has levels of experience. The spell creates a magnificent table, chairs, service, and all the necessary food and drink. Those partaking of the feast are cured of all diseases, are immune to poison for 12 hours, and healed of 5 to 8 points of damage after imbibing the nectar-like beverage which is part of the feast. The ambrosia-like food that is consumed is equal to a blessed spell that lasts for 12 hours. Also, during this period, the person who consumed the feast are immune to fear, hopelessness, and panic. The feast takes 1 full hour to consume, and the beneficial effects do not set in until after this hour is over. If the feast is interrupted for any reason, the spell is ruined and all effects of the Dwemer are negated. The material component of the spell are the cleric's Holy Unholy symbol and specially fermented honey taken from the cells of bee larvae destined for royal status. I quite like this spell. It's one that certainly will be kept. I know it's still in the 5e edition of the Player's Handbook. It's very powerful. Healing the individuals is a bit of a bonus, giving them immunity to poison for 12 hours, giving them a bless spell for 12 hours, and that's actually more powerful than a regular bless, since the characters can then go their own ways. They don't need to be in a given area like with the bless spell. Immunity to fear, panic, and all that is also quite powerful. This is a really good buff spell. The fact it takes slightly over an hour, 70 minutes, to cast and for it to take effect does mean it limits its applications, but I can see quite a few situations where if a group knows that they need to enter a place where they're going to face danger, have a hero's feast, and then they can enter it and they know for at least the first 12 hours they've got divine help. Can also be used in siege-like situations. In a more investigative game, having things like bless and immunity to fear can be very helpful. So if you know that the players are planning to infiltrate a mansion or something, having that cast on them will help in a small way and will help them a lot probably if things go pear-shaped, which, as we know, these kinds of missions often do. So yeah, I like this spell, and I think it was kept all the way up to 5th edition for a reason. What's interesting is in the future edition, the duration of this spell will be doubled, but the number of creatures affected will never be more than 12. So they kind of changed the balance here. Also, in the 5e version of this spell, characters will be cured of the effects of any poison in addition to being cured of disease. So there's a few changes. They increased some things, decreased others. The basics of it taking a turn to cast and an hour to consume the feast, that has remained the same. A good spell, one that is very powerful, which is why I feel they put that limitation of needing that hour to take part in the feast before it can take effect. So let us quickly look at all the spells. Not that there were a great many this time, there were only 2 new ones. The Forbidden spell I quite liked, mostly a DM spell, but still some players might find a use for it, but that will most likely not be when they are out on an expedition, but it's most likely to be when they're in their home base, where the cleric will have a temple or shrine or something, a consecrated place that he may want to defend. The Hero's Feast, this was clearly a popular addition since it's remained in future editions of D&D. Very powerful spell with a serious limitation on it, which means players are unlikely to abuse it. A short one this time because there were only 2 spells to look at. This has been the Grumpy Old Slan, looking at 6th level cleric spells in Unearthed Arcana. And I'll see you next time.